Good morning. Good afternoon. We're going to give it like 30 seconds here. As soon as we hit, actually, as soon as we hit oh, I didn't do it. I thought we muted it.
I got you. We're muted
You
now.
got me. Okay. Of course. That's all right. We'll let it get up over 100 here. I might be one of those silly note takers that comes in.
It's like one of the funniest things is like the auto note takers that join every call.
Oh, they follow us around. All right, just a sec. What are we? Okay, we just cleared the 100 participant mark. Let's get rocking. Thank you everybody for joining this month's partner business update session. You'll notice our marketing team has been hard at work. Little rebranding here, little liquid glass for SonicWall, which I think is pretty slick actually. So little new look and feel to our super important PowerPoint slides. I'm Matt Thomas. I'm the regional director for Western North America. Joined by Austin Fanning, our global director of inside sales, and JT Fanning, who has a new title every week. This week it is director of strategic MSP growth. He's here to man our chat and Q&A session. So if you have some that pop up, we'll take some time as we go through the presentation, and also at the end, hopefully we have a little bit of time to answer your questions. And if not, right, we'll get to you afterwards. I will say this, there's going to be a lot of new information coming at us today. You'll have contact info here that you can reach out to if you don't happen to, have a tight relationship with your account manager. Please reach out. We'll schedule some one-on-one time, kind of break some of these concepts down, help you guys figure out ways to continue to grow your business. So jumping in terms of agenda today, I'm going to talk about Q2 promotions. Again, the theme here, helping y'all grow your business, maximize your profitability. We do want to touch on a little refresh on the last day to order schedule for some of our legacy solutions, touch on some new releases, and then really want to get into the conversation around our newly released security bundle, the Managed Protection Security Suite. And then Austin has, just a little hook to keep you here till the end. Going to share with you a way to get your hands on a new SonicWall firewall here, giveaway here at the end that we'll touch on. But getting into it, key action items for partner success. Want to talk about promos, want to talk about some, pretty straightforward things that we've covered in previous sessions. We'll link, videos to this recording as well as some of the previous sessions when we send the follow-up. But Austin, take us through, some things that we've covered before, but some new things we want to make sure everyone's aware of.
Yeah, the big theme, Matt, is going to be the legacy firewalls that are kind of going into support here over the next little bit of time. We have a slide that's going to show the exact dates if you want to see those. So not unique to SonicWall. As we mentioned, a lot of the competitors in the market are going through the same kind of refresh cycles. You probably have, if you've been around SonicWall for any amount of time, some of these older Gen 6 and 6.5 firewalls. The theme is, let's get these customers on the latest generation hardware. So we're absolutely in a position to have some discussions to, work with you, what works best from a profitability standpoint for yourself, as well as customer budgets, to get those old units upgraded. So talk to your account manager, talk to Matt and I. Let's figure out ways to get these customers onto the new generation of product.
Right, which obviously Gen 7, and then we have some new releases here, 8th gen, right?
Talk about the Gen 8 releases here momentarily, and you can see I was even calling them out. So the ways to do that are going to be through 3 and free. You know it, you love it if you've been around SonicWall for more than a year. That's our best value for a multi-year upgrade. So you're going to get that hardware for free when you buy 3 years of services, and the 2800 and 3800 both fall into that program. Sonic Protect's another really cool one that we have available. That's like, hey, I want to get the most value. I want stability in my renewal cost for 3 years or for the next 5 years. You buy that Sonic Protect on your existing Gen 6 or 6.5, you can ride that all the way up into the red line, basically to that last day of end of support. And then you can buy that bare hardware when you're able to deploy it and again, maximize the value of their existing hardware. So Sonic Protect, another cool option if the customers are not interested in upgrading at this point, lock in that renewal cost for 3 to 5 years, and then get to that hardware when you have a chance to. And then last but not least, of course, you've heard us talk about the service provider program. That's going to be for primarily MSPs, but anybody looking to do a monthly offering, right? I need no commitment, flexible billing, kind of drop in, drop out as needed. A lot of MSPs looking at that. And when we talk about the NPSS bundle, that's that new bundle that's exclusive to service providers. So there's no cost of signing up into the service provider program. It's just one little checkbox that we have to do. And then you can access that new bundle, both monthly and annual, all through the service provider portal.
Rock on. Very good. Yeah, and here's the chart that you were mentioning, kind of flashing the dates on when things are going, last order date, end of support, and last order date, right, for everyone, right? Nice big red text here. That's your last day to renew, to purchase 1-year renewal for those devices. So as you look what's coming up here, April 30th was a big day, right? The next round that we're going to be seeing here, coming up end of July, and then into September. So, I mean, here's the kind of the plain text version, right? These devices have been in the field for a long, long time. We've made, going on now 2 revisions of releases here, hardware wise, right? The bad guys certainly aren't using old technology, right? So we want to kind of keep up. So we're on the forefront there. It's expensive for us to support this stuff. We want to help you. Austin alluded to it. Contact me, contact Austin, contact your account rep. We want to put a plan together for your Gen 6.5 and earlier devices and help you guys go, aggressively target your customers there, make it profitable for you. And a lot of the presentation today is the additional value we're cramming into all of our subscriptions, right, to help you with that conversation. So it's all about helping you guys make money, get folks on new technology, easier to manage. We reduce the risk across the board for our mutual customers. And at the end of the day, it takes all of us to do it. So let's talk about the 38s and 2800s.
Awesome. Yep. So in addition to the TZ80, our Gen 8 line of hardware is expanded. So you see the 2800s and 3800s, that's that mid enterprise unit that just launched. Some cool stuff coming out with that, but those are available to order today. 3800s are arriving. We've got pre-orders going in now, but those will start shipping kind of in the July timeframe. But 2800s are available right now.
Yep, shipping 2800s. Get your, if the opportunity makes sense, right? The horsepower you need, 3800 makes sense. Get that order in because you'll be in that first batch when we get those in early July here.
Yeah. I do want to address this before we get too far beyond it. It's Andy's question in the chat. He's talking about service provider program. How does the month-to-month subscriptions, just real quick, if you're talking about hardware in the service provider program, that's only available for Gen 7 and newer, so you shouldn't have any issues with end of life dates if that's what the question was, and then JT can answer if it was something different than that. Back to you, Matt.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, in terms of enhancements, right, everything's moving. We're going to talk about, Sonic platform. We're going to talk about what we're doing for our MSP partners to try to, help you guys from an operational efficiency perspective. At the end of the day, cranked up horsepower, right? The other thing is Gen 8, even Gen 7, purchased after November 1st of last year, right? We touched on this before, but we're going to talk about, the incredible value of the cyber warranty that's embedded in all of our new firewalls through Cysurance, right? It's an important piece to the conversation as we're shifting. Like we hope healthcare will do at some point, moving to more of an outcome-based model here, right? Not always talking about speeds and feeds, but giving you some real solid, economic and business-related value that you can take to your customers to help continue to drive this. We do have pretty exciting promotion, Austin, for folks that are eligible for rebates on the 2800s and 3800s.
So for my silver and higher tier partners, you can augment your rebate when you sell those 2800s and 3800s. You're going to get an additional 5% rebate on all those sales. That's through Q2. So that's May 1st to July 31st. So essentially a 5% back end kicker for selling that new product. So excited to share that. If you're a bronze partner but is looking to invest more in SonicWall, we have ways to kind of work with you on this too. So definitely reach out if you're bummed about missing that 5%. But again, just adding fuel to that fire and helping you guys have discussions around the new Gen A hardware.
Yeah, one quick one there. We've heard from partners, sometimes when you go to distribution, Ingram, D&H, TD Synnex, as we get these new products into the market, they may show that there is no or limited quantities. Understand that that's part of the stocking order that goes on through those distributions. We do have quantities at our warehouse. So if you show zero quantity, you can just request a drop ship from us. There's no change to your cost. It'll come from a SonicWall warehouse, but that's one thing that's come out the gate right away. So Lydia, you got your 4 orders. You go throw that in. If they don't show quantities, just request a drop ship and it'll ship from SonicWall's warehouse.
Good best practice all the time, right, JT? In terms of, sometimes things aren't shown in the portal, and you can always, it's always an option if you're running into problems there, or reach out to your rep and we can help facilitate that. But yeah, absolutely. Good call out. Another thing that dropped May 1, NSM 3.0, a lot of enhancements. I would recommend, right? If you took NSM for a test drive and it's been a while, right? Connect with us. Let's get you a demo. Let's get you a little training here. The nice thing is, as of May 1, and Austin, I'm going to tee up another conversation for you here. Something cool we did from a value add perspective. We heard, what the partner community was saying in terms of, if you rewind a handful of years, the way we had our advanced and essential bundles, and then we had advanced and essential NSM, and they didn't exactly line up, and it was kind of turned your brain into a pretzel until you got it figured out. Working hard to simplify that. So now any existing Gen 7 boxes with the Essential Protection Service Suite, you now have an entitlement to where you can access cloud management, right? Advanced bundles moving forward, they're going to come with the advanced NSM with advanced reporting analytics. And then what we've decided out of the box, it comes with 7 days. If you have, requirements to have longer retention, maybe compliance requirements, customer requirements, you can then add a la carte SKUs to take that to 30, 90, 180, 365 days, right? So it's a way for us to provide as much flexibility while also providing some value of introducing the network security manager. And as we went through this process, we also got some more feedback saying, hey, it's a step in the right direction, but it's still too confusing, right? You're giving us NSM now. So why do I have to have access to so many different service bundles? And Austin, what are we coming down the pike with here to really simplify this?
Well, the big bullet point is going to be simplicity, right? I think we're trying to limit the number of subscriptions that partners have to chase down and remember what's included and what's not included. So over the next few months, you'll see some changes we're making to the available subscriptions and really trying to consolidate as much as possible. This is based off of feedback from partners who are looking for a simple message to take to their customers. So you'll kind of see that coming out in some notifications, newsletter coming out later, I think tomorrow, and some other announcements next week as well.
Very good. One thing that you mentioned I'm going to build this slide out here. This is another reason why we brought JT on, is additional value we're adding to our new bundles is, we're including entitlements to our secure service edge solution, Cloud Secure Edge, right? With all Gen 7 and Gen 8, 3 and free hardware bundles, as well as service provider, correct, Austin?
Correct. Yep.
Right. So the end of the day, you guys pay attention to it. SSL vulnerabilities, all over the place, not just SonicWall, all vendors, right? There's this requirement really, and we'll see some data from SciSurance later on that kind of helps speak to this from a complete risk reduction perspective, right? And making it easy for you and compelling for you to have that conversation with your customers, to start thinking about remote access in new fashion, because we're all, our customers, we're all accessing data different than we used to, right? And as we move off legacy VPN, we got to have a solution for you. We do with Cloud Secure Edge, and a lot of, really big traction with this in the last, I guess it's 18 months now since we made the acquisition. JT, I know you're on, maybe talk to us a little bit, since you kind of the tip of the spear on Cloud Secure Edge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that jumps out the page is their partners are adopting this. There is demand in the customer base. One of the biggest transitions is around cost. We're seeing partners being able to add a substantial amounts of services revenue when it comes to configuring Microsoft, Entra ID, or some other identity platforms, modernizing customers to hybrid cloud solutions. And the pull through is that SonicWall gets to participate in the security of that access. So I think if you look at it as a way to modernize the way you do access for your clients, there's a substantial revenue there. The partners that are having a challenge are going in and just trying to sell it as a replacement for VPN. And while that's the starting point, definitely if you lean on the modernizing conversation, it seems to be more impactful. So you're talking about stuff that's in the $5 cost range, being sold for $15 to $18 per user per month. Those are like market prices. There's competitors out there doing that today. So pretty substantial opportunity to transition stagnant revenue, right? These VPN licenses to something that's a little bit more dynamic. And then obviously provide a better security outcome for your customers and give you some more visibility into their network.
Awesome. Thank you. Call to action here, right? We can spin up trial in my SonicWall. We can, kind of ride shotgun with you to kind of get that stood up and understand, do some training and figure out how you might be able to build it into your practice. Austin, promotion to help drive.
Yeah. So just to address something, there's a lot of good questions coming. I'll let JT try to jump on those and can hop on if there's one that needs to be addressed over the call. But please keep the chat coming. That's awesome. It's great to see the questions regarding this promo. So a lot of our partners are aware that we are in the process of phasing out the SMA 100 series. So not the 1000 series, but the smaller, you see there, the 200, 210, 400, 410. To make that transition easier to move over to CSE, we have a promo running. It amounts to about 54% off of a 3-year CSE license, and you also get to 4x the number of users eligible. So if your SMA was licensed for 25, all of a sudden you got 100 CSE licenses to take advantage of. So that's going to run through the end of the month, so through June 30th. And the only requirement is that you provide that old SMA device again, which should be getting hopefully phased out here over the next bit. Provide that old serial number, which will kind of like the secure upgrade, won't be able to run its typical license structure because again, you'd be moving over to the CSE licenses. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that, please reach out to your account manager. We will have to write a special pricing request to take that discount to you, but happy to do it and would love to work on those old SMA units and getting them moved over to CSE.
1,000,000%. And we're prepared to, quickly, right, help model this out price wise, get you guys stood up on demos, understand the technology so you can quickly, mobilize on this one. Really important. So, we talk about risk, right? I mean, that's ultimately the name of the game here. And we've had some presentations recently and the concept of, can we take risk to zero, for our mutual customers? And really the answer is no. But there are things that we can do to tip the scale in our favor, both economically and kind of flatten the risk curve out. Some things that jump out from data we've looked at. I think this is a Gartner stat, right, JT and Austin. 60% of breaches, when it comes to firewall, are due to just misconfigurations, right? Which ties into the fact that anytime we have humans involved, right, risk effectively can't go to zero. The other thing, as we look at the vulnerabilities and the different, attacks that we're facing, the time it takes for bad actors to mobilize once new vulnerabilities are published, super quick time, less than 48 hours, we're seeing, average time to exploit. And then the big one is we all deal with this on a daily basis, right? The average time to patch once we, identify vulnerabilities are there on average is 120 days. Part of that's just because the sprawl of all the technologies you're managing, right? It's very hard to maintain that patch management across your entire environment. So this is a big move, and sure, there's going to be a lot of questions around this, and we really welcome having some one-on-one conversations about, where we're moving as an organization to help support you as MSPs, and that's the new Managed Protection Service Suite. So as we kind of move forward, when you think about some of the things Austin said in terms of simplification of the license types and bundling, you're really going to be able to think of it, one of two things. Do we want to have managed firewall with SonicWall behind us, the Sonic Sentry team, or are we going to manage that ourselves? So the managed protection security suite, new bundle where we are going to do what, Austin?
So yeah, it's a couple things here, right? So first and foremost, it's constant monitoring by the Sonic Sentry NOC team. So I like to point this out because I think a lot of partners have that knee-jerk reaction, like, hold on a second, this is what I do, right? This is my job. Why are you guys trying to like? I don't view it as that, and a lot of partners I've been working with is how does this augment the staff that I have? How does this augment me if you're the one that's managing these things, right? How does this give you more time back in your day or more time to go focus on other things, right? That's the first and foremost piece that I think is important to understand. I've talked to a couple partners that there's one that we were on site with who's got, the 3 screens up and over 30 minutes, like talking about the amount of alerts that they're getting. It's like, let someone who does this day in and day out help you offload that burden, that operational burden. And so that's the big piece right there. So 24/7 automated alerts, we're taking care of that piece of it. We also have the Sonic Sentry team monitoring that firewall. So when we talk about those unpatched devices, making sure that things are up to date, that's where the Sonic Sentry team is coming in, watching that, giving you the heads up. Again, not necessarily doing it for you, but giving you the intelligence to kind of cut through the noise and find out what's the most important things for me to focus on. The other piece here is health checks and productivity reports. We're going to show some examples of that, but feeding you guys some actual tangible material to go and take to the customers, right? It's giving some real look and feel to what we provide. We know in the cybersecurity industry how important what we do is, but it's hard as a customer. If I'm a dentist office, I don't understand what you're providing me always. So being able to come to them and give them some material to sink their teeth in, that's another big benefit here. And then enhanced support. We understand, with many vendors, support can be a challenge, especially MSPs. You don't have time in your day to be dealing with, level one and slowly work your way up to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So we give you direct access to teams that live and breathe this stuff day in and day out, that can really help you just cut through what you need to get to and address the issues that you have from a support perspective. So you get a dedicated Sonic Sentry contact to work with when it comes to these MPSS firewalls. And then last but not least, the cherry on top is that enhanced cyber warranty, because we recognize if you're making this step, if your customers are making the choices to augment their security and make sure that things are covered on every facet, we deserve to, give you guys a little bit more coverage there. So you'll see that $100,000 warranty jump up to $200,000.
It's huge, right? Additional value to help drive that. I think it's interesting, and we'd love to, again, one-on-one have these conversations, right? As you model this out, it's really a way to kind of help scale, right? In some cases, right? And how each partner is going to leverage this could be different, right? It could be to help scale, just to augment what you currently have, working with some, early adopter discussion on this, right? It's, situations where they were maybe having to go try to find another network administrator, right? Because they've been growing and it's hard, right? You guys all know this. It's hard to find good talent out there. This is a way for them to model out the economics where they're able to leverage MPSS across the entire fleet. They don't have to go add that additional admin, right? So now they have, able to focus on some other areas of their business. Bunch of different ways to approach this, but the huge value of doubling that $100,000 warranty to 200,000, it's really nice, like you said, cherry on top there. And when we talk about the Cysurance relationship, right, it's the first embedded warranty in a firewall in the industry, right? We got first mover advantage. I would anticipate, right, if they can crack the code, we'll probably see some folks, move down this path. But again, out of the box, no MPSS. You guys are managing the firewalls. It's $100K. Add MPSS from SonicWall to have the Sonic Sentry team standing behind you, ensuring best practices are configured, all change requests, helping with the patching, right, to automate, move that and make it way more efficient, along with, like you mentioned, Austin, the reporting, right? No news is good news when it comes to security, and sometimes you can work yourself out of a job. So giving you some, definitely executive level reporting that you guys can have in your QBRs with your customers, right? When you're going in trying to help kind of prove value and bring that to life. And also allowing you to, this is all powered by SonicWall, right? But just like on our Sonic Sentry MDR program, we want you to maintain, the relationship and be the hero here, right? So we're powered by SonicWall in the background, but we're going to be able to co-brand this and help you guys in your communications with your customers. So I'm just going to flash through this, in terms of some of the reporting. And I don't know, JT Austin, if there's anything you want to highlight here as we move through.
Yeah, nothing specific. I mean, we'll send these slides out. So if you guys want to get a closer look as to some of the stats and analytics that's being shared, take a look at it. Again, the goal is to give you something you can sit down with a customer and kind of review and make some important call outs, right? Here's how we're protecting you. Here's areas where we can see that there's, whether it's high risk applications or productivity reports, here's where you improve your profitability or your security, right? Overall. So it's a conversation piece, and it gives you some of the physical stuff to take to a customer.
Yeah. Pretty slick. So we touched on this, right? Where, managed protection security suite bundle. That's our Sonic Sentry NOC team helps support you in the firewall management, right? Not to be confused with, Sonic Sentry and what we do from the SOC perspective, our MDR for endpoint, MDR for cloud, and MDR for network, which we talked about in previous sessions. Many of you are up to speed on this, but it's an important piece to the conversation when we talk about the overall value you can deliver to your customers, right? And how you can drive profitability and service attachment, right? With everything we're doing here. The next piece on the SciAssurance warranty is we talked about these first two levels here, right? New SonicWall firewalls, 100K warranty out of the box. Add MPSS, managed firewall, it goes to 200K. When we add EDR with MDR from Sonic Sentry, as well as the cloud threat analytics for email, that warranty 5X is from 100K to 500K. When we add advanced email security, cloud detection and response through our SOC team, Sonic Sentry, that warranty goes to $1 million. At the 500K level, it also unlocks guaranteed, no application, no attestation, discounted cyber insurance through our partner SciAssurance. So when we talk about closing the loop on not only helping obviously reduce risk, help you guys drive additional service attachment, at the end of the day, what we're seeing in most cases, folks that are adding MDR are saving more on their cyber insurance premiums than they're spending on the MDR, right? So that's that cybersecurity moneyball game we're trying to play. Where not only are we taking risk significantly down, we're doing a situation where you guys grow the services, become more sticky with your customers. At the end of the day, they're all saving money, right? So that's what we want to help you guys build into your program here. Just a little highlight, and again, you'll get this, talking about a little bit about the cyber insurance program. I will point you here, right? You'll have access. We have a microsite built where we have, talks about the best practices configuration guide, how to submit a claim, how to register your warranty, and we also have a dedicated email address. I will say, if you have any specific questions and you'd rather not go here, you could come to me and I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. So just some data that we pulled as we've been working with SciAssurance, right? We all know the importance of multi-factor authentication, right? And what that does to, the reduction of chance of having a breach or incident. The other one from SciAssurance data, and we know this generally, right, is, employing ZTNA philosophies, right, and a ZTNA solution like Cloud Secure Edge, right? Another huge reduction in the likelihood of having a modern attack hit your business. MDR, huge reduction, not only in the likelihood of a breach, but from a resilience perspective, right? How long it takes you to identify, how long it takes you to recover from, unfortunately, it's not if, it's really when, right? Because we all have humans involved in this equation. And then we talk about the advanced email security, another huge reduction, right? So JT, I think you summed it up best, right? Customer that is deploying a SonicWall firewall with MPSS, Cloud Secure Edge, MDR, and Cloud Detection and Response standing behind it, delivered through one of our managed security partners, you'd be hard pressed to find someone that has reduced risk to a greater degree at the value we're able to deliver, right? Because resources are not infinite, unfortunately. Pretty slide. I like this one. We're really closing the loop here, right? When it comes to, an end-to-end solution suite and talking about outcomes from threat protection, network security, secure access, managed XDR endpoint, remote, a new way to think about remote access, right? And having the Cysurance, wrapper around this, pretty compelling story. We look forward to having it with you. Austin,
Awesome.
You're up, buddy. This is the fun part.
Appreciate your patience. I saw like 4 people leave. They just barely missed out.
Geez.
So fire up your emails. If you are an MSP that's looking at the monthly options or looking at MPSS as a potential way that you want to go to your customers with, we have 50 TZ80s that we're fired up, ready to give away. If you reach out to service provider onboarding at sonicwall.com, have a quick introduction call. I promise it's painless. It doesn't cost anything. It's just getting you familiarized with the service provider portal and how you provision licenses and all that stuff. We will not only give you a free TZ80 firewall, we're also going to give you 3 months of MPSS alongside that. So a great way if you're on the fence. And I saw, I think Tyrone and a few others in the chat had a lot of questions. Well, here's a great way to go test it out in your own environment, get your hands on with it, see what it's like. So give us an email. Again, the first 50, we might be able to fudge that a little bit if we get over 50. If you're an existing service provider partner, please still reach out to us. We'll see what we can do. Of course, we want to get these ones out to people and get their hands on it. So give us an email. We're happy to set those calls up as soon as possible.
I'm going to leave this here for a couple seconds, let everyone capture this, and we'll get this out, pretty quick once we wrap up.
There's a few questions I said I was going to answer live, so
let's roll.
So the first question is like, does the MPSS team review firmware prior to rolling out? I mean, obviously we're taking on a pretty substantial, burden or risk, something that our partners historically had to deal with, which was firmware patches and the impact associated with it. So yes, they evaluate it. I did say I don't know the specifics of their evaluation. So if that's a showstopper, if that's something you're very interested in, let's talk with your account manager and we'll get you an exact answer. But I do know they look at the firmwares in advance. I just don't know the specific releases. There was a question about what's the difference between MPSS, the firewall bundle, and the network detection response service that we sell from Sonic Sentry. So I can most easily separate those into kind of 2 buckets. MPSS is your network operations. It's the firewall administration, firmware updates, add change drops, removes, and the reporting that Matt shared. Mm-hmm. Network detection response is somewhat firewall agnostic, right? Obviously, we support our products, but we also support others. And we're actually looking at the syslog and data feeds that come off those devices for malicious activity. So that's your SOC component. So those are 2 separate, distinct services. One's just the firewall management, day-to-day operations. The second is the security operations. Donovan asked, can you quickly explain if we want all of these features, MSSP with firewall, et cetera, how many SKUs is that? Say 20 users. It's a single SKU. So you choose the firewall that you want. Let's say it's TZ 370, right? Or TZ 470. There is a bundled SKU, Managed Protection Services Suite. You buy that SKU and you apply it to the firewall. Now, you might say, I'd like to deliver that monthly. We have an option for that. That's a reason to engage with that service provider onboarding team. So depending on how you want to bill, it could be 1 or 2 SKUs, but it'll be a single SKU. That's probably as quick as I can do on here, but we can also talk with you directly about your 20 user opportunity.
Pretty good.
I think that's caught up.
Donovan had a follow up to that, JT, just regarding I think the CSE licenses or like the SASE component. So all of our bundles, the 3 and free bundles or the 3-year secure upgrade bundles come with a set amount of CSE licenses with them. So again, if you're in the service provider program, you can just license these ad hoc, but if you're buying that 3-year hardware upgrade, you'll get a set amount of CSE licenses alongside that to cover for a subset of users.
Very cool. I don't remember
Sounds
what we
gonna
have
have
after that. Oh,
plan.
pretty pictures. There you go. Hey, grab our emails if you don't have them. You can certainly reach out to sales@sonicwall.com if you don't have your account manager's info handy. Um, Austin and I would love to chat with you too. It's nice, keeps us out of too many forecast calls. We actually get to talk to our customers, which is fun. So hit us up. Definitely want to continue the conversation and hear feedback on all of this, right? And let's make it real and see where we can help you continue to grow your business alongside us. We again, we're nothing without you, our partners. Mean that, right? And we're not always perfect, right? But I think we have, at least the folks on this call, we're set out to, try to delight you any way we can. It's going to have some bumps along the way. So stay communicating with us. Let us know where we can do better. Let's figure out how we can fit some of these solutions into your service offering and hopefully have some fun along the way. So I'm going to stop sharing now, see if there's any more questions that pop in here.
A few more. There's a good one here from Bert that says, "Hey, does the MPSS report on where areas where MFA is not enabled?" You did see it. We can send out this copy of the report so you can see it, but it does call out if you have multi-factor authentication or like exposed administrative credentials on the firewall. It won't be exhaustive for your entire infrastructure, right? You could have cloud accounts and stuff. That is a service that our SOC team can help monitor for you. But as far as it pertains to the firewall, yes, it will. That is one of the prerequisites for some of the assurance coverage is multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. So we'll call that out. How do I get these services with MSP? Easiest way, and it includes a potential to get that TZ80 firewall that Austin mentioned, is to email that service provider onboarding at sonicwall.com. But you can also reach out to your account rep and we can have a conversation about getting you into the managed services program. I think I got all the questions. If we missed you, it's just because they came full hot and heavy there. So apologies if I did miss one.
They get nested in there. Yep. JT, thanks for manning the ship there, helping answer some questions. See, we invite JT so he keeps the sales guys from overextending, since he's, we masquerade as engineers sometimes. He doesn't have to masquerade. He's got the credentials.
I did see Sean mentioned that, hey, I've already signed up for the managed protection program because we were transitioning from security as a service and to alternate model. That's a pretty common platform. For those of you that are still using the security as a service piece, I would say stay tuned. The next one of these we do will have some really cool ways that we're trying to help those partners that are still in that security as a service world move into our more modern billing. So stay tuned for that. If you see some notes come out from us, that'll be there. We just don't have the final economic portion figured out yet.
Yeah.
And then there was a question from Shawnee also. I think we kind of answered it, but which licensing bundles include assurance? I posted the frequently asked questions a couple times. It's all of the Gen 7 firewalls sold from November 1st of 2024, so 6 months ago or so forward. Couple of call outs that are necessary though. There's that best practices install, and that does require the security services to be enabled. So you'll need to be buying APSS or one of the security service suites to enable the required, logging and like IPS services. I had one other thought that I wanted to finish
well,
off.
as you're thinking about it, right? I mean, that's the conversation that I think, as we've kind of getting our arms around this, it's okay, cool. I do that. I license firewall with APSS, tell my customer, right, 100K warranty. I got to go ensure that best practices are being met from a configuration perspective. One way to take that question and challenge off the table, now having access to MPSS, right? We guarantee that's going to occur. And in return, we're going to double that warranty to 200K, right? That's kind of how we have that conversation. Makes sense to me, right? Want to hear from you, but I don't know if that helped you jog your memory or not, buddy.
I think the one that I have to address, and I don't mean to be jumping around it, but it got asked a couple times, which is like, hey, when are the rest of the, you know, Gen 8 products coming out? Generally the question, right? I saw it a couple
Yeah.
different ways. But the reality is we have to go through certain certification requirements, right, for the wireless capabilities, and we have a lot of federal government contracts. So the exact time frame for us rolling those products out has not been shared with the sales team, probably because they know that the three of us would tell you exactly what it is. But it's not in this quarter, right? So it's not going to be by August 1st. And I have not heard of our internal team getting testing units. So if you've got customers that are expiring or renewing and they need a new product, the Gen 7 product is still an actively supported line. It's mature, it's secure, it just got its FIPS 140 certifications. So like we're supporting that product long term. I would say I would point you that direction.
Yeah.
Or you could upgrade them and sell them at 2800, and we'd love to do that with you too.
And one more point there, JT, is, if you're looking at that life cycle wise, Sonic Protect is another great option to go and look at, because you can buy 5 years, it's going to run, and then again, it's kind of hedging the bet. But if that's something you want to do, like let's talk about Sonic Protect, and that kind of insulates your renewal costs, and then you can upgrade whenever that might be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then David, your question about FedRAMP, we got a whole list of certifications just went live for our Gen 7 products, specifically around the federal government. So I can share that with you post this call, or I'll post it here in the chat so everyone can have it. I don't know specifically around the wireless units. I need to look, but certainly the FIPS piece, we just got validated, certified. I think that might have been just a capital D. I'm not sure what that certified with a capital D is. That might just be a typo. MPSS is not on the standard price list by design. We limit it to our partner community. We aren't trying to like position it directly out to the end customers at this time. So you have to be part of this service provider billing. So service provider onboarding at sonicwall.com will happily share the price list and the pricing breakdown. But we were hesitant to put a street price out there because we want you all to truly be able to build a service with our product. All right. Last data order schedule for legacy solutions. I linked it earlier. I'll link it again before we leave. There's a life cycle that we post on our website with all the dates. They vary, but depending on what unit, it could be as early as tomorrow and sometime into next year.
Yep.
Can we have access to the chat? We'll try our best. I don't know if we can.
Teams, the permissions in Teams is goofy. I'll see if we can work that out.
I think it's Tyron or Tyron, if that's how you say it. It sounds like we need to have a conversation. So hit one of us up. You got a lot of good questions coming in. So let's chat through it and make sure we get you the answers directly, and we won't have to rely on the chat history.
Rock on. 2 minutes early. Thank you guys so much. Great group today. Awesome questions. Austin, JT, thanks as always. We'll be back probably post July 4th here, and have some new topics to talk about. So have a great rest of the week, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Go get your free firewall. Talk soon.
That's right, baby. All right. See you guys. Right.